Hello, everyone. It is the Canadian Futures Trader here. It is Monday, February the 22nd, and we are done day number 4 for the LeeLoo Express. Now, it wasn't a big day. I didn't want it to be, well, I shouldn't say I didn't want it to be a big day. I just, on purpose, I just wanted kind of a quick trade. Let's get profitable. Let's get on, the back half, if you will, over 3,000 and call it a day. I had some other stuff to do. So real quick, if you're just here for the update, made $250, one trade, two ticks in the bonds. Current balance is 103, 126, I guess, if you want to round up. And I'm going to go through that trade now. And I actually did record this trade in Jigsaw. So we're going to look at that in a second. First, though, I kind of want to show this chart. So this is I traded the 30-year treasury, it's ZB. I mentioned, I don't trade off the charts. I don't use any indicators, none of that stuff. But I do look at the chart. I want to see what's happening. So I thought this was interesting. So first thing when I got up and was ready to dive into trading, fired up this chart and saw this. Now, 6 months ago, I probably wouldn't have even hesitated. I would have been like, oh, it's going down. This is a 1 minute chart, so whatever this is, maybe 60 minutes or so. Maybe less, doesn't matter. I would have been, oh, it's down, down, down. I mean, there's a few bumps in the road, but it's trending down. We're going short. This will be easy. I'll just try to pick up, like 5 ticks or so, and we'll call it a day. That would have been me 6 months ago. But now I look at Jigsaw, I look more at the order flow. So I didn't immediately get lured into this, and I'm glad I did not, because I'll show you what happened. So when I fired this chart up, it was right here, immediately turned about face, and even though here it kind of had a few bumps in the road, no, this is a little bit more than a bump in the road. So if I had just gone short here, definitely would have been taken out by a stop loss, would have aided on this trade, and would have not been happy. I mean, it would have just been trading, but I'll show you how the trade did actually pan out. So this is where it went. So at this point, I'm now looking for an opportunity to either see this turn around and start to come back down, or if it's going to continue up, I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and wait till I see something. But really what I'm doing is watching the order flow. And again, I'm going to show you that on the actual Jigsaw side, and it'll make a bit more sense. But just to cut to the chase, so it did kind of bump around. I was watching in Jigsaw. It looked like buyers had kind of run out of steam. I was starting to see the sellers pile on. I went short, moved a tick or two against me, no big deal, and then didn't get out, obviously, and then it did come down. So I grabbed my profit. Yes, there was much more profit to be had, and I believe it actually continued down even further. But again, I was just in it, just trying to get like a 2-tick winner and be on with my day. So things did work out, and let's take a look at this actual trade now, kind of on the Jigsaw front. Okay, guys, so this is a recording of Jigsaw. I'm just going to pause it really quick so I can explain a few things before we get to the trade. So this is the same screen I showed last week. In the middle here is the 30-year bond. That's what I actually trade. On the right is the 5-year note. On the left is the 10-year note. Now, once we get into the trade, I'll do a little bit more explaining. But once I'm in the trade, I'm actually watching almost the 5-year and the 10-year more than the actual 30-year. I have my take profit, I have my stop loss set. I'm looking to the 10 and the 5 to give me indicators as to what's going to happen. If things look like they're moving in the right direction, perfect, I'm happy. If they start moving against me, it might be my indication that it's time to get out of the 30-year. Sometimes you can get a clue from the other products before it's too late with the one that you're in. So what you're going to see happen here, so right now I'm not in a trade. You watch this hand, and you see the click there, and in a second you're going to see it pop up, and there you go. So at this point, you see the profit and loss pop up. That means I'm in the trade. I'm short 4 contracts. You can see that down here. Now, why I entered that trade was, again, I mentioned before, it looked like the buyers had kind of run out of steam at that point, and the price was kind of leveled off and was expecting it to come down. Now, what you're seeing here is me set a take profit, was really just looking for a 2-tick winner. I didn't want to be in this trade for a super long period of time, just looking to scalp a few ticks. I'm going to set a pause here and explain something. So a couple things. One, Jigsaw has like an auto feature. You see it tick down here. It's smart enough to know that if I'm short 4 contracts and then I hit a buy order, that's my limit order, my take profit. Likewise, if I set a buy order that's kind of in the negative, it knows that's my stop loss. So that's why you see the 4S is stop, 4L, limit order. I mean, they're technically both limit orders, but it's really a stop loss. Q is my position in the queue. So right now, this inside column and this inside column are what you would see on a traditional depth of market or DOM. These are the limit orders that are sitting on the book right now. So there's currently 552. I got in Q position 549. Now, keep in mind, we're trading on sim, so it's not like my trades are actually executing on the market for any of these evaluations. You're just technically trading a sim account. But they try to treat it as real as possible. Now, that said, the next thing I wanted to point out, and then I am going to let this play, is the reason why you might be thinking you have a 2 tick take profit, you have a 3 tick stop loss, like that's a horrible risk reward. I 100% agree. Why I have this set a little bit on the high side is sometimes, not always, and I don't have an explanation, because of the whole sim nature of it. If the price even ticks up and touches on this, it'll get me out. So the price could come up, it'll just, like one contract could trade here, and Rhythmic slash LeeLoo will say, oh, sell, you hit your stop, you're out of this trade, when really, like, I don't want that. So what I'm planning on doing is just watching the orders here. And if they start to move against me, and if all the other markets start to move against me, I'm probably getting out at either 125 or 250. Now that doesn't happen. And I do actually move my stop loss 1 tick closer in a second. So I'm gonna let this play now, and I'll just point out some stuff. So what you will see happen is this does move against me a few ticks. It doesn't touch the stop loss. But what I'm watching is these other markets. I'm seeing they're selling off. Sellers are coming down. So these inside columns are actual trades being executed. So all this activity just happened. So even though it popped up, sellers immediately came right back down. So continue to watch this. Now at this point, the last trade was at this price, 03. It's 1 tick against me. I'm not too worried. Watching this, I've got a bit of a buffer here. Again, if it comes up here and these start thinning out, I'm probably just going to get out of the trade. I'll exit. At worst, I lose 3 ticks. Maybe I lose 2 ticks back down, and I'm still seeing activity here. You're seeing a lot of sellers. You're seeing a lot of sellers. So what you're going to see shortly is this does come down. Not only is seeing sellers, I'm going to pause this for a second. There's a couple of things here. So looking again at either of these two markets, and again, I'm not even so much focused on this one. I'm seeing 3,500 limit orders on the sell side. I'm only seeing 1,900 here. I'm also seeing sellers pile on. I'm seeing buyers pull off their orders. They're leaving. They're taking the orders off. That's what this negative is. Same dynamic over here. Sellers are piling on. There's less buyers, and they're pulling away. So what these are, they can be one of two things. They can just be spoof orders. They could be bots that are reacting to the movement. Two, they could be real buyers that are like, hey, we might be able to get a slightly cheaper price, and they're going to pull their limit orders here and add them on somewhere down here. So even though this currently doesn't look great for me, I'm happy with this. I'm honestly kind of surprised I let my stop sit there. Kind of like if it had ticked up and touched on it, run the risk that it would get out. But I mean, it's all happening very quickly too. So let's unpause it and see what transpires. I think it is live now. It is, just nothing is happening. So I'm continuing to see red flash here. That's what I'm looking at. So my eyes are really just focused on this middle band here. If anything, I should put these two side by side because that's really where my attention is. I'm watching. If I see this start to thin out, I might be getting out if I have time. Again, if not, at worst, now I take a 2-tick loss. Not the end of the world, but I'm feeling pretty good. I'm seeing this. I mean, the video's not paused. This is just kind of how the bonds go sometimes. There's just no activity. Don't worry, it gets exciting in a minute. Now at this point, I'm actually contemplating this going flat. I'm like, but we had a tick down. I'm like, cool. A lot of selling here and a lot of selling here, and these actually move down now. So you saw this clear out, and one contract has come down here. You're seeing buyers start to pull off here. Buyers continue to pull here. So at this point, we're still at break even. Okay, we saw that tick down, or I should say the buyers cleared out. Now nothing's traded down here at this level yet. So that's another thing I like about Jigsaw. If you're doing this type of order flow reading, you can actually see what's being traded at each level. I'm just going to pause this for a second and explain one other thing. So in a traditional depth of market, you would see the price, you would see the limit orders for the buyers and the sellers, and that's about all you would see. So when these numbers start changing on a normal depth of market, you don't know, did somebody actually come in and buy at this level, or did somebody just pull an order? For example, here, this number, dropped 816. I know that because somebody pulled off 816 contracts. If you were watching a traditional depth of market, you would see that drop from whatever that was, about 3,400 to 25. You might think, oh, cool, sellers came in. Buyers, sellers came in and hit on this and it's moving down. Well, no, I mean, somebody just pulled their their limit orders. So now it does actually continue to move down, but I'm just saying you get a little bit more insight into what's happening. So let's continue to let this play. Now it happens pretty quick. There's about another minute and a half before it actually ticks down, believe it or not. But things start to go in my favor. Now, one thing I'm indicating here, I don't know if you saw that, Rhythmic, this is kind of a weird day. Usually we have this histogram of our volume profile histogram of all the orders. Sometimes it doesn't pull the whole thing. It just pulls kind of the immediate area, and it just populated the whole thing. You notice here on the 30-year and the 10-year here, it's really not populated for the full day. I'm not sure why it does that, but just a quirk or a data thing. Anyways. So still, I'm not loving this. Again, buyers are coming up, but, you know, we're watching these. Okay, guys, so picking this back up. So I'm kind of just patiently waiting. Obviously, we are in a bit of a holding pattern here. I'm still seeing sellers come down. I'm seeing red flash here. Sellers are hitting the ask. No big amounts. Starting to see some accumulation here. Also, what I'm seeing that I like, I'm going to pause this, is just the imbalance between buyers and sellers currently that have limit orders in. You have 2,800 contracts versus 470. These can be wiped out pretty quickly and move down. Now, this is the 5-year. When the 5-year moves, it's a bigger deal for the 5-year to move than for the 30. So if this ticks down, there's a good chance we're going to see some movement down here. Same imbalance over here. There's 3,100 sellers on the limit, and we have 1,300 here. And not only that, we have the sellers coming down and hitting. So I'm just going to let this play. There's about a minute left before the trade actually executes. So, but again, just to give you an idea of kind of what I'm looking at and kind of how I'm managing this. And again, if this started to move against me, if it got up to 125 at this point, I'd probably pull the plug. Like, I want to see the continued momentum downwards. Now, I think I could be wrong. I think it does flash up really quick, kind of there, but it happened relatively quickly, and then sellers popped right back in. So I was kind of holding on. I mean, you're watching in real time now. So that all happened in like 5 seconds or so. So we're right back to, we're still at even. At this point, I could get out of this trade for break even, but I'm holding on. Again, seeing the sellers over here, sellers over here. I'm not seeing a lot of pushing up by the buyers, so I am just sitting tight. Okay, so we're getting fairly close to when this does work out my way, and it happens relatively quickly, so I might try to pause it and just explain what I'm seeing and what's happening, but I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. So like I mentioned, still there's not been a big, huge pushback. Anytime the buyers came in and tried to push it up, it got pushed right back down. It's sitting. I could get out at break even right now. I'm holding on. You still got that imbalance, and there you go. You got a snap. So I'm going to pause it really quick. So they went through this level, just lickety split. There's a good chance that a lot of these orders are spoof orders. For example, or I should say just buyers that once they see that movement, they think, oh, I can get a better price. So they just pull off their order. You see it right here. So this level cleared out. It's now come down to here. Now, no contracts have traded yet, but this dropped. This was 400 and something or 500 and something. All of a sudden, there's 295. And you see it right here. 236 contracts got pulled away. So there was over 500. And our queue position reflects that as well. We jumped to 292 in the queue. So we're still kind of at the back of the queue in theory, but we're in the queue and the queue number has dropped. So likewise, you saw a bunch of sellers pop on here. So what happened there really quick was sellers came down. Some people bought right back at this level, but now this is where we're sitting. You saw a snap there, and I believe this one snapped as well. And now this trade's going to pan out pretty quickly here. The momentum is just going to continue. This level is going to get wiped out. So you're going to see if you watch the queue position, or if you watch here sellers, you're going to see a bunch of sellers come in and just wipe this out, and you're going to see the queue position just basically disappear. Then all this line will disappear because we're out of the trade, and then Rhythmic will cancel this stop as well. So I'm going to let it play now. All right, and it happens quick, so just wait for it. There you go. You see a big seller. You see that drop to 24, and boom. And now there's a bit of a delay there, and that's it. Our boxes disappear. We are out of the trade. The little confirmations pop up on the bottom right. I have them blocked out just because it has my account number. And you see as well the 5-year snap down and the 10-year. And that's basically it, guys. So that is kind of watching a bond trade. It's not the most exciting thing, but not bad for 2 ticks worth of work, I guess. And we'll call it a day at that. So thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want to continue to follow along. I'll make a video tomorrow, same with an update. I'll probably go for a little bit more profit tomorrow, actually put in some work and see what we can do with it. And I believe that is it. Thanks everyone. Be sure to comment below with, I'm going to pause it here. The video's still playing. comment below with your progress on where you are at in your various evaluations and whatnot.